There is a specific neuron called the neurohypophysis, from the hypothalamus to the pituitary, that secretes the oxytocin hormone, stored in the posterior pituitary. Oxytocin is the hormone of love and family bonding, especially the bond between mother and child, and also the social bond. The neurohypophysis contains astrocyte cells, also called pituocytes, so very sensitive to excess copper that can destroy it. The region corresponding to the place of storage of oxytocin, where is located the termination of the neurohypophysis in the pituitary gland, is Lorraine. This neurohypophysis, as well as the pineal gland, will therefore be damaged by neuromelanin. Lorraine, on the German border, is therefore the place where the major event will occur. This will represent both the destruction of the neurohypophysis, France, and the blackening of the pineal, Germany and Luxembourg, that will be impacted. It should be noted that Luxembourg, a small and very rich country between France and Germany, represents the diamond contained in the pineal gland. This diamond, called zirconium, is formed from carbon compression. Carbon is composed of 6 electrons, 6 neutrons and 6 protons, hence the number 666 in the Bible, representing both the man and the beast, when the diamond cannot express its vibration. Remember the scene of the music band ZZ Top in Back to the Future, because the 2 letters Z represent zinc and zirconium, the 2 essential elements at the top of the spinal cord. Thus, the pineal gland that manages the wheel of time. It is this diamond that allows by its vibrations, spiritual communication, and that will be covered by neuromelanin. The word Lux, from Luxembourg, means both light and wealth, and Berg is the city, so it is the city of light. The event will occur at the Cattenom nuclear power plant in Lorraine, just on the Luxembourg and German border. It will destroy the eastern region of France and Luxembourg, as it will heavily pollute and darken Germany, as the rivers and winds rise towards Germany. This event is revealed to us subtly in the films, as soon as we understand the codes. Remember, in Back to the Future, Lorraine Baines, Marty's mother. Baines means bath, referring to the cooling baths of nuclear power plants, where radioactive elements are located. But this also comes from the Irish ainus, meaning anvil, the tool that is hit with the hammer. So, Lorraine Baines literally means the strike on Lorraine. Lorraine Baines, as Marty's mother and who falls in love with him when he returns to the past, represents of course oxytocin. Still in Back to the Future, we find the DeLorean car, which its pronunciation sounds like DeLorean, and which is destroyed at the end of the series. Remember, the DeLorean runs on atomic energy. Syrinx is the equivalent for birds of the vocal cords in humans. It's a kind of Y-shaped tube like the DeLorean flux capacitor. This tube emits fast sounds like a flute, called tweets. Similarly, control tubes or rods are used in nuclear reactors to control the fission rate of nuclear fuel. These radiations also emit very fast sounds by amplification in the Geiger counter, resembling the tweet of birds. It is for this reason that the social network Twitter has become X as X-rays. Also, the word syrinx is the origin of the word syringe. Remember also the Swedish singer who won the singing contest, Eurovision. Not only it refers to the event that will take place between Denmark and Sweden, but also that of Lorraine, since her name is Loreen. The title of her victorious song is called Tattoo. This refers to the consequences of the luminous flash of the nuclear explosion, producing like a tattoo, that is the imprint of clothes on the skin. In the official video, she dances in a cube. The cube represents the limbic system, included the pineal gland and pituitary gland. All around her there is a smoke, resembling the smoke after a big explosion. She also performs, with the crossing of her arms, the letter X, always in reference to the X-rays of the nuclear explosion. Finally, we notice the 6 luminous flashes in the background, which represents the 666 of the cube and the pineal gland and its darkening. Tianville is the closest main town to the Cattenom nuclear power plant. The prefix Tian comes from the Greek taion, meaning sulfur. Sulfur is the essential element contained in the oxytocin molecule. The destruction of the city of Tianville symbolizes the desulfurization of oxytocin, and therefore its destruction. There was recently in this city an artistic exhibition of steel structures, strangely screening the elements of an atomic catastrophe, such as the bomb, the atom, and the gas mask. The bomb-shaped structure has the letters PK70. The letters P and K stands for protein kinase. Kinase proteins are essential enzymes in the processes of cellular physiology. They regulate the interactions between proteins that dictate the life and death of a cell, called apoptosis, a process by which cells trigger their self-destruction. In particular, the protein ZAP70, or protein kinase associated with the chain Zeta70, is a tyrosine kinase essential for immune responses, such as activation of T lymphocytes and NK cells of the immune system. Overactivation of ZAP70 can lead to autoimmune diseases. Natural killer NK cells, in our body, target and eliminate unwanted cells, such as cancer cells or infected cells. But, by being overactivated, they can also attack healthy cells and neurons, such as the neurohypophysis. There are 2 kinds of complementary proteins for cell signaling. Unlike proteins kinase, which triggers cellular signaling processes, such as cell death by adding phosphate, there are also proteins phosphatases that stop this signaling by removing phosphate. Tyrosine phosphatase, or PTP, is also called PTP-MEG. It is therefore the excess of tyrosine kinases compared to tyrosine phosphatases that cause cell death, both blood cells and neurons. In the movie Meg, with Jason Statham, the megalodon shark represents tyrosine phosphatase that must be destroyed, and which represents tyrosine phosphatase deficiency. Remember, tyrosine phosphatase is also called PTP-MEG, like the megalodon Meg. In Back to the Future, the virtual shark of the movie, Jaws 19, virtually swallows Marty, who represents the hemoglobin, because Marty comes from Mars, god of forges and blacksmiths, and therefore he is the iron of hemoglobin. Similarly, in the series, Jaws, it is also the shark that must be killed. The main actor belongs to the police called Amity Police. Amity means friendship and derives from the Latin amo, meaning love, a bond that is possible thanks to the hormone oxytocin. In the horror film Amityville, the story traces that of an American couple of writers, the Warren, specialized in occult sciences and presented as ghost hunters. The bride's name is Lorraine. It will also be noted that the actress Leah Thompson, who played the role of Lorraine Baines in Back to the Future, began her cinematographic career in the film Jaws 3D. This deficiency of tyrosine phosphatase, the shark to be slaughtered, therefore leads to the dysfunction of blood cells, thus, a lack of oxygen, and therefore a pituitary necrosis and neurodegenerative diseases. These processes are identical to any cells such as neurons or T cells of the immune system, considered as stem cells. Indeed, T cells are represented by dinosaurs, because they are the stem animals of all terrestrial living beings. In Meg 2, we see the shark swallowing a dinosaur, which represents tyrosine phosphatase that regulates apoptosis or death of the cell, in this case that of T cells. Other clues allow us to focus on this nuclear event at this precise location. Indeed, Raccoon City, in the movie Resident Evil, is actually Tionville. On the one hand, the two words have the same gematria. The sum of the value of their letters is equal. Onion and garlic contain the sulfur-containing allicin molecule. That's why raccoon animals hate onion and garlic, like vampires or zombies in the movie. This explains the expulsion of sulfur, which the city of Tionville refers to, and which is contained in oxytocin. In the films Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, and Apocalypse, the city of Raccoon is destroyed at the end by an atomic bomb. Symbolically, once the sulfur is removed from the oxytocin, so the city of Tionville atomized, the social bond is broken, and people behave like zombies. Another clue to this terrible event is the movie Oppenheimer, which relates the project of realization of the first atomic bomb. The movie Oppenheimer was shot in 57 days. The number 57 is the number of the Moselle Department. The Moselle Department being part of Lorraine. The Cattenom nuclear power plant, just next to Tionville, is actually located in Moselle. The same day as the release of the movie Oppenheimer, the movie Barbie was released. Saint Barbara is a holy martyr who became the patron saint of workers facing the dangers of fire and explosions, like firefighters or coal miners, like mines in France, which were precisely the most abundant in the Lorraine region, and especially in Moselle. Even more significant of the advent of this nuclear event in Cattenom is Article 49.3 of the French Constitution. You would think at first that it has nothing to do with the event. Well, think again. To pass a text without a vote by the National Assembly, the Prime Minister can engage the responsibility of the government by activating Section 49.3 of the Constitution. The vote is then considered adopted if a motion of censure against the government is not passed by the National Assembly. It is a kind of forcing decision for the adoption of a law. This article has been used many times by the French government of President Macron in recent years. Every time it is used, it lends itself to a national controversy. The media then, repeatedly and insistently, described it as causing the effect of a bomb, even an atomic bomb on French society, sometimes also called the legislative atomic bomb. However, it turns out that the number 49.3 represents the latitude of the city of Tionville, precisely where the nuclear event should take place. Recently, the famous actress Sophia Loren fell in her bath, having necessitated her hospitalization. Again, this corresponds to the advent of Lorraine, since Lorraine is her name, and her fall symbolizes the destruction of the nuclear power plant. The bath still refers to the baths of nuclear power plants. You see, they show us and prevent, in a very subtle way, the event of Cattenom, through events that seem trivial or unrelated to it. Because it is their belief principle that compels them to obtain our consent through disclosure, for those who have the finesse and openness to be able to make the connections. Also, what hides the very name of Cattenom is very subtle. The word Cattenom comes from the German Kettenhage, which means the house of the cat. The cat, here, represents a particular enzyme called catalase, and has a very important antioxidant role. This enzyme also plays a role in the pigmentation of cat's hair. Indeed, catalase is an antagonist of melanin. The increase in melanin levels, due to the increase in enzyme tyrosinase by copper poisoning, therefore, induces a deficiency in catalase. Hence the link with the name Cattenom and its necessary symbolic destruction. Many other clues about this event are revealed to us through the music industry. For example, the concert of Mylène Farmer, which was to take place in Paris on July 1, 2023, and which was cancelled. The name Mylène Farmer refers to the special cells, called oligodendrocytes of the central nervous system, that produce myelin. Myelin is a specialized membrane of glial cells that wraps around the axons of neurons and allows their isolation. However, astrocytes are necessary for the survival of oligodendrocytes and are involved in the regulation of development and myelination. The destruction of astrocytes also leads to the demyelination of axons, hence the fall of Mylène Farmer on her 2019 concert poster, resembling the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower representing the tip of the syringe injections. We can also note the blackened eye on the poster of the cancelled concert of 2023, of course in reference to the recovery by the neuromelanin of the pineal gland. And, of course, she has red hair, which represents copper. See, the symbolism is everywhere. Just open your eyes, and especially the right one, your third eye. Understand the human body, and you will understand the world and its events. Those who govern us, play on us by this knowledge, by creating events based on this symbolism. Let us not remain in ignorance. Let us deliver ourselves from this evil that they impose on us. Unmask them by anticipating their next movement and the future harmful event for humanity that they want to create. Because, awake, we no longer consent to their masquerades.